Hey friends, and welcome back to Sewing from Scratch. I am Kate. This is where I teach you everything I know about sewing and we learn more together along the way. Today's video is one that it's kind of been a long time coming. It's an update to my Pfaff Ambition 610 overview. This is a machine that I bought last August in 2019 and I have a video up on my channel. It is one of the most, actually it's the second most popular video on my channel, and I've had requests to do an update. And of course I've meant to, it just keeps getting pushed. My machine is going into the shop tomorrow, so I figured why not do an update today. So if you haven't already watched that original video, I will leave a link down below in the description box for you to check out, and you can quickly watch that one and then come back and see how I feel about the machine now. If you have already watched that video, thank you so much, and I hope you hit that subscribe button. I'm putting out content every single week. For November, I'm going to be ramping up to 3 videos each week. Hopefully I can sustain that, and you don't want to miss any of the awesome content that's coming out, so make sure you are subscribed. All right, my machine. Let's start with what I love, and then we'll get into what I still don't love about my Pfaff Ambition 610. So right off the bat, let's address the bobbin issue. This was the biggest issue I had with the machine. I did end up phoning the dealer, and actually I did take it in to have it looked at because it was doing some other odd things too. And what the dealer told me, or the repairman told me, was that it's because I was using metal bobbins, and I knew I wasn't supposed to, but I thought, how bad can it be? I have all these metal bobbins. Well, that's what was screwing it up. Apparently the metal messes with some sort of the magnetism in the computerization of the machine, causing it to glitch. So I bought some more plastic bobbins, which I hate, by the way, and use them, and now it only needs to rest when it's actually doing some heavy work, like going over many layers of fabric, or I jam it or something like that. So that has been addressed. I do recommend following the manufacturer's directions and using plastic bobbins, because if you are having that problem and you're using metal bobbins, that could potentially be the case. Next up, that's something that I didn't really know if I loved before, and now I do know because my kids broke my machine, so I've had to use the start and stop button instead of the foot pedal. And honestly, it's not like I don't prefer it, but it hasn't been that bad, and I'm kind of glad I was forced to do it, because now I'm more comfortable with it, I guess, for, you know, if I was to ever take the machine somewhere and didn't want to drag along the foot pedal. I don't know, but I do not hate it as much as I thought I would. So that start and stop button is pretty handy. The only thing about it is I find that I don't have enough hands, obviously, because I have to kind of keep one up at the start and stop button and then one on my fabric, and then if I need to like pull out pins or something, I typically am stopping the machine to pull out pins. So it's not as quick overall as having, you know, your foot do something, but it is handy to have in certain situations, like when your kids break your machine. All of these stitch options on the machine, I mean, no, I have definitely not used all of them by far. I kind of stick to my same ones, but it is really nice to have certain options that my basic machine didn't have or doesn't have. So things like bar tack or the different buttonhole shapes, those kinds of things are nice to have, and an actual button stitch where it like goes back and forth and it does it so many times, and you can change the amount of times, you can change the width and everything. Of course, on a regular machine, basic machine, you can just use your zigzag stitch and set the length to 0. That's what I always did, but now I have the button that makes it really handy. I also am really impressed with the IDT system, or the integrated walking foot. I don't know, I just like almost always have it on, and if I forget to click it in after I'm, you know, changing presser feet or something, I really do notice it. So it is so handy to have that built-in walking foot. You don't have to worry about purchasing an extra foot or swapping out feet when you need to, and it works on things like the zipper foot as well. This is something really simple and whatever, but the top flap where it like opens and closes, I really like that because it just keeps the dust out when I remember to close it, and it makes for a kind of a cleaner, sleeker look. And the last thing I want to talk about in regards to my 610 sewing machine is the top loading bobbin. I thought it was like a game changer and like I really loved it, but honestly, I don't know that I do or don't have a preference. It is handier for changing the bobbin because you don't have to take the extension table off and things like that. But other than that, I mean, it's not as easy to clean and it's not as accessible to get into all the nooks and crannies either when you're cleaning. So for that reason, I mean, I don't know if I would have a preference. All right, now a couple things that I want to mention that I guess I don't love, and I mean, is there a perfect machine out there? I don't know. In my budget, probably not, but this machine really does, I really have come to love it over the year that I've had it, and it's serving me well, and I plan to have it for really ever. Maybe when my daughter and son are more advanced in their sewing, and maybe I've upgraded to an industrial or something like that, this will be a great machine for them to use. But of course, there's things I don't love about it. So again, just the overall computerization. I mentioned this in the last video where when you shut off the machine, it doesn't remember what you had it set to. So for example, if I'm working on a really particular project and I have my stitch length set to a certain thing, or maybe I'm on a special stitch and I have, you know, it's like a satin stitch or something, and I have the density to a certain point, and then I get called away for some reason and I just shut off the machine and I don't like write down what I was using. When I go to turn on the machine again, it's not going to be set to that, so I'll have to reset it and try and remember what I was at. And so that is kind of a downfall, as well as just like having the computerization is nice, but at the end of the day, I am more concerned that that will give out before any of the mechanics will. So going forward, I don't know that I will purchase a computerized machine again. I mean, I've only had this for a year and it's still working great, but I think, prefer mechanics over computerization, just because mechanics can be fixed a lot easier and cheaper and are less likely to be fatally faulty. And then if you guys saw my video from last week, I showed you 3 different ways to wind a bobbin without unthreading your machine. And one of them was through the needle. I don't know if it's exclusive to Pfaff, you can let me know in the comments below, but it is in the manual, so I do try it on occasion. Don't love it 100%, but I mean, there is that option. I will say that they kind of hype it up to be like this really awesome thing, which in theory it is, but in practice it's not 100%. So that's kind of the other thing, which I don't even know if I can complain about that because it's not like a common thing. Like, it doesn't hold me back from doing anything. And if you watch that video, you know that I have a different trick to thread my bobbins anyway. So I will link that in the description box below as well for you to check out at the end of this video, which is now. So thank you so much for watching. I hope if you're looking into an Ambition 610, or maybe you have a 620 or something like that, and you're just looking for a little more insight, I hope this was helpful for you. And drop me a comment, let me know if you do have this machine and if there's anything you love or don't love about it. I would love to hear that as well. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and I will see you in the next video. Bye!